Good morning. Welcome to the University of New England and to the graduation ceremony for the awards in the School of Business and the School of Law. Graduates, family, friends and the UNE community, may I ask that you now please stand for the entry of the academic procession and the Chancellor of the University of New England, and please remain standing to join us in singing the National Anthem. Thank you.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. I'd like to start with an acknowledgement of country that I have been very generously given by the Aniwan elders. Dangana Ortila, Yakawunda Kiunda Anewanda Nina, Inja Kiuna Aniwan, Nyaka Kiuna Wangaka, Uitika Lanapura. This means a sort of a greeting to a group of people. Greetings. Greetings to all of you here today and all of you who are online viewing and filming from up the top there. I am a white person living on Aniwan country, This here is Aniwan country. Let's all listen to and learn from country. Talk soon. In the spirit of reconciliation, I would like to acknowledge the Aniwan people, the traditional custodians of this land, and to thank with a big heart Larissa Ahoy, Elder in Residence Dr. Colin Ahoy, Uncle Steve Widders, Auntie Rose Lovelock, and Callum Clayton Dixon for teaching me this acknowledgement so that I could share it with you. And I have had the real privilege to share it all around the world because I think it's so important for the language of the Aniwan people and others across Australia to be reinvigorated and shared. I would also like to pay respect to their elders, past and present, and I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are present here today. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Sarah Pearson, and I am the 10th Chancellor at UNE, and it is my great privilege and pleasure to welcome you all to today's graduation ceremony for the Schools of Business and the School of Law. It's always such a pleasure. I get something goes on in my body as I walk along the top there, and I get to that top corner and I see you, and I get so overwhelmed with joy and happiness and pride in what you've done and the fact you're here today to celebrate that. And we are so much here to be with you to celebrate. Welcome especially to you, our graduands. Now, you all know that word is going to change in a few minutes, but right now you are graduands and your family and friends joining us to celebrate this very special occasion. Many of you have travelled a great distance to be here today. I spoke with some people this morning who'd driven, I think it was 6.5 hours to be here, so welcome. Welcome also to all our staff who are here today to share in your celebration and the achievement of you, our students. Such a great celebration for all of us. Students who have done the hard yards, and you can now stop, and I really encourage you today, take the time to stop. You've been running to get all this done. Stop and be proud of yourselves. Look at what you've done and what you've achieved, how far you've come. Take that time today. You can stop and realize how much you've achieved. Supporters in all forms, be they family or friends, supporters, whoever you are, and to our UNE staff who have taught you, who've shepherded you, and who have nurtured you during your time with us. I also welcome special guests. We have today's occasional address speaker is Mr. Michael Kirby, AC, CMG, and I know he has a lot of really wonderful things to tell us today. Dr. John Stuckey and Mr. Rob McLean, AM, and partners of all of our special guests. Welcome to all of you. Vice-Chancellor and CEO, Professor Chris Moran, Emeritus Professor Mahinda Sriwadana, who is the Esquire Bedell, and he is my protector. So I know this is a formal day, but I like to add a little bit of informality. So you see that's silver object over there. That's to protect me, isn't that? That was really rather special. So I don't know if there was any sort of issues, but you did protect me, so thank you very much. It's a wonderful old tradition. Graduation's a very special time for the university. They're an occasion when we celebrate the achievements of students and the attainment of your awards and degrees, and also acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the staff who've helped you get this far, including some council members that are with us today and the executive. Graduations are also a time when we can, as a university, honour those who've made a special contribution to the university, to the local community and society as a whole. For many of you, this might be your first time on campus, so welcome to our beautiful campus on a lovely autumn day. We hope that this place will be one of significance for you, as it has been for generations of graduates over the past 72 years. We're really excited to share the campus with you on this special day, and I hope you all take the opportunity to have a look round. It's great to see our students enjoying the environment we have without thinking about the next assignment you have to hand in. It's a special place to study, whether you live on campus or whether you came here for intensive schools. Graduation ceremonies date back to the Middle Ages, hence all this funny garb and the thing over there, which is amazing to think that the history we can point back to and that you're engaged in today in a graduation ceremony goes back all that time. And we tend to be reasonably formal during these occasions. At UNE, while we honour the traditions of graduation ceremonies, we also try to make this day as warm and as engaging as possible for graduands and everybody attending. This is a family, beautiful family special time. Embrace it if it works for you. A bit of pomp, you're going to be doing the old doffing of the hat. There's a little bit of pomp. There's ceremony, fancy outfits. You all have your fancy outfits too to make this day a bit different and special. So make the most of it. It's not often that you get a chance to dress up and be like this. But most importantly, savor the moment as you receive your hard-earned award. When you come up here and I give you a certificate, just stop and breathe for a minute and remember who you are and how far you've come. It is now my pleasure to declare the ceremony open and to call on our community member and ANI1 custodian, Ms. Larissa Rajoy, to make the welcome to country. Thank you, Larissa.
Tangana Otila. Yaka Akanani. Yaka Larissa Ahoy. Yaka Apanga Colin Ahoy. Ua Irapella Barbara Ahoy. Ua Irapella Ethel De Silva. Nyala Kunanga Injinga Kuna Anawan. Nyaka Kuna Wangaka. Inja Anewan Kuna. Inja Nyambika Kuna. Nyambika Orala. Ana Ndaka. Nyanga Ndaka Kunanga. Nyanga Ndaka Wangan. Ndaka Rakina Nyambika Kunda. Nerima Ronyira Inja Kunda. How are you all? I'm Arkan Skin. My name is Larissa Ahoy. My father is Colin Ahoy. His mother is Barbara Ahoy. And her mother is Ethel De Silva. We come from this country, Anawan country. Let's all listen and learn from country. You stand on the traditional lands of the Anawan people, and my people have called this our home since the first sunrise. We have ancient relationships with our neighbours from other parts of the tablelands, the plains and the coast. I'd like to pay my respects to elders, past, present and future, and extend that same respect to you all here today. On behalf of my people, welcome.
Thank you so much, Larissa. Thank you. I spoke about how we can point back to the Middle Ages for the ceremonies and the hats and all the rest of it. But isn't it amazing? We are the only country in the entire world, quite possibly the universe, that can point back to over 65,000 years of a continuous cultural history. And today we've shared in that with Larissa. Thank you so much, Larissa. So today is a day of celebration, and I'm really thrilled to be celebrating this wonderful achievement with you and your loved ones, the people who've shared every high and every low, every assignment and every exam. Well done to you for staying the course, literally. Graduates, you have worked so hard to get here, and I hope you feel justly proud. Feel proud of yourself for having chosen UNE and of the qualification that you will earn today. You're graduating at a profound time in history. My grandparents pretty much raised me, and they lived through World War II, and my life was pretty much, I don't know, it was guided by that. And I know that they felt the world had never been a bad place since, but right now it is a pretty profound time that we're in. A time when the world has become increasingly volatile and uncertain. But in all this uncertainty, all this geopolitical unpredictability, all the technological unpredictability, there is one thing that you can be sure of. Your UNE education has equipped you with the skills and the capabilities to discover new solutions, to foster new partnerships and inspire fresh hope. Not only have you learned deeply about your chosen subjects, but also how to think, how to critically assess information, how to creatively problem solve, how to work with others, how to be resilient and keep progressing even in the hard times. But importantly, you've also learned that there is more to know than one person can know. You have undoubtedly learned a lot in your time here, but you know you don't know everything. I think it was Einstein that said, the more that you know, the more you don't know that you don't know. But you know now that it's not just one person that holds all the knowledge, and there are more ways than one to address challenges. And I think that is incredibly important in today's world of uncertainty and opportunity. So you leave this place with some incredible skills, not just your certificate, your graduation, the acknowledgement of your hard work, but you have been changed. You've received a world-class education from Australia's very first regional university, in some facilities that rival our G8 and larger university counterparts. A university renowned for its impressive graduate outcomes. You, our graduates, are going on to do amazing things, as the graduates before you have done. The only public university in Australia to achieve 5 stars for overall experience in the Good Universities Guide for 20 years in a row. And that is voted by you as students. I want to thank the students for their votes, but I also want to thank the staff, because there's 20 years of that sort of award shows that we have some wonderful, dedicated staff. Along the way, you've learned what it means to be part of a community that doesn't just extol the values of kindness, accountability, connection, and boldness, but enacts them. An unconventional university that encourages teamwork and respect, that believes in creating a better future for all, regardless of geography and regardless of background. Your alma mater is one you can take pride in, just as we take pride in you. Our university is steeped in history and yet propelled by imagination and innovation. It's always, I think, important to have one foot in the past and another foot and your eyes on the future. And we have that here at UNE, and you have that now in your DNA. And this is your springboard. And as it launches you into new airspace, I encourage you to grasp every opportunity that comes your way. Because believe me, after achieving what you have achieved, opportunities will come your way. To consider what impact you can have on other communities, to be a champion for learning and collaboration, diversity and difference, but also kindness and love. Because that's what the world needs right now, what the world will always need. On behalf of the University of New England, I thank you for joining our family, and I wish you every success. Uitika Lanapura, talk soon. I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Chris Moran, to present Mr. Michael Kirby, AC CMG, to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Chancellor, good morning everybody. I also acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands where we meet today and where all of the learners and teachers in our university live, learn, work and play, and pay my respects to the knowledge holders of all of those places and to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us today and online. And Larissa, again, I have to remark, I sit there thinking about what these old trees think about hearing language again in their place. It's always wonderful to hear the language of this place. The Chancellor has described this as a very formal occasion with a lot of pomp, and that's true. And I'd like to let you know of just a little bit of the formalities. There's a really important point here. These people don't graduate when they receive their testimony. They graduate en masse soon, when the Chair of the Academic Board will ask you to rise and the Chancellor will read a charge. That's when you go crazy. We're not in church, we're in a celebration. So we ask you to show your support, not just by being here. And we can tell you when they come up to get their testimonials, if you yell, they can hear you and we get to see their smiles. So everyone's a winner if you give that vocal support to these people as they come up for their testimonials. But just remember, they graduate together and we'd really love to hear you. And that gives you the opportunity to get your voice working afterwards. So they graduand now and they become graduates when they're seated. When he retired from the High Court of Australia on the 2nd of February 2009, Justice Michael Kirby was Australia's longest serving judge. He was first appointed a judge in 1975 as a Deputy President of the Australian Conciliation and Arbitration Commission. In 1975, he became inaugural Chairman of the Australian Law Reform Commission. Later, he was appointed a Judge of the Federal Court of Australia, then President of the New South Wales Court of Appeal from 84 to 96, and concurrently President of the Court of Appeal of the Solomon Islands, 1995-96. His appointment to the High Court of Australia, Australia's highest court, followed in 1996. Justice Kirby has strong links to UNE. 2006 marks the 50th anniversary of his first address to graduands of this university. The 50th anniversary. That was his first graduation address after his appointment to the Australian Law Reform Commission. He's given many since. In addition to his judicial duties, Justice Kirby has also served on many national and international bodies. Amongst the latter has been service as a member of the World Health Organisation's Global Commission on AIDS, 1988 to 1992, as President of the International Commission of Jurists in Geneva from 95 to 98, as UN Special Representative for Human Rights in Cambodia 93 to 96, and as a member of the UNESCO International Bioethics Committee 95 to 2005. He also served from 2011 to 12 as a member of the Eminent Persons Group on the future of the Commonwealth of Nations. In 2013-14, he was appointed Chair of the UN Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights Violations in North Korea. Michael Kirby was awarded the Australian Human Rights Medal in 1991, the Gruber Justice Prize in 2010, and has been patron of the Kirby Institute of Infection and Immunity in Society at the University of New South Wales, Sydney, which recently celebrated its 40th anniversary. In 2008, he was awarded the inaugural Australian Privacy Medal. Privacy was the subject of his first graduation address at UNE in 1976. In the age of artificial intelligence, it is of increasing importance. Justice Kirby has held several university appointments. From 1964 to 69, he was elected a Fellow of the Senate of the University of Sydney. He was Deputy Chancellor of the University of Newcastle from 1978 to 1983. He was then elected Chancellor of Macquarie University. He regularly puts his support behind student initiatives which seek to further the cause of human rights around the world. He has received national honours as a Companion of the Order of St Michael and St George, CMG, in 1983, and as a Companion of the Order of Australia, AC, in 1991. In 1998, he was named Laureate of the UNESCO Prize for Human Rights Education. Michael Kirby delivered the Sir Frank Kitto Lecture at UNE on the life of Sir Frank Kitto, who was a Justice of the High Court of Australia from 1950 till 1970, and Chancellor of UNE from 1970 till 1981. A lecture series at UNE has been named after him. He has visited our law school and student events on many occasions, both in Armidale and in Sydney, and established close links with Town and Gown in the university. Chancellor. For outstanding contribution to the nation and internationally, as well as for his significant contributions and attachment to this university, it is my great pleasure and privilege to present to you Mr. Michael Kirby for admission honoris causa to the degree of Doctor of Letters.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit you honoris causa to the degree Doctor of Letters.
Sydney-based alumnus, Dr. John Stuckey, has maintained a strong connection to the University of New England throughout his life. Dr. Stuckey attributes his career and life success to his time at the University of New England, where he completed a Bachelor of Agricultural Economics with first-class honours and a Master of Economics, made many lifelong friends, and met his wife, Sally Cousins. He also cites Professor John Dillon, UNE Foundation Professor in Farm Management, as the person who got Dr. Stuckey into Harvard University, where he completed his PhD in Business Economics. Dr. Stuckey's lasting connection to the University of New England will continue in perpetuity through his efforts in establishing and fundraising for the Bernard Coffey Country Scholarship, which supports a high-achieving rural student for their whole degree while living in Austin Page College. It is from those friendships initially forged at UNE that the majority of the scholarship funds have come. The seeds for this scholarship were sown when Dr. Stuckey was a part of a group of sociable, sport-loving blokes who met and then at Earl Page College in the late 1960s and early 70s. This group included Bernard Coffey, a Bachelor of Economics graduate of UNE who went on to work as an accountant. Bernie's death at the age of just 56 hit the men hard. Dr. Stuckey and fellow alumnus Dr. Colin Gallatley were on the board of the UNE Foundation at the time and suggested creating a country scholarship in his honour. The Bernard Coffey Country Scholarship is now endowed with hundreds of thousands of dollars, meaning that there will always be a scholarship honouring Bernard Coffey at the University of New England. After retiring from a distinguished career as managing partner of McKinsey & Company, Dr. Stuckey drove the fundraising that has enabled the Bernard Coffey Foundation Country Scholarship and other UNE scholarships to continue and flourish. He is a strong believer in the value of an active college life at UNE, in his case supporting sport, he having been fortunate enough to play in premiership-winning cricket, rugby union and InterVarsity rugby league teams with college teammates. Dr. Stuckey has held a lifelong belief in the importance of friendships and taking those opportunities that allow him to go for the best, even if he felt he was jumping in the deep end. His fearless approach to life has enabled 5 Bernard Coffey Country Scholarship recipients and countless future recipients to study at UNE and live in Austin Page College, supported by funds which enable them to complete their studies without financial pressure. Chancellor. In recognition of his enduring connection to the University of New England, his distinguished career and his generous support of rural students, I have the honour to present to you Dr. John Stuckey for admission honoris causa to the degree of Doctor of Letters.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit you honoris causa to the degree Doctor of Letters with great pleasure. I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Chris Moran, to present Mr. Robert McLean, AM, to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
A UNE alumnus of exceptional distinction, Mr. Robert McLean, AM, graduated with first-class honours in economic statistics from 1964 to 1967, later becoming a Fulbright Scholar, completing an MBA at Columbia University, and serving as an analyst at the Rand Institute. His professional achievements span business, education and thought leadership. He served as the Australian and New Zealand Managing Partner of McKinsey & Company and sat on the boards of CSR, Pacific Dunlop and Elders, as well as contributing to Australia's innovation landscape as chair of the data analytics company Zetaris. Mr. McLean has also demonstrated a deep commitment to education through his leadership as Dean and Director of the Australian Graduate School of Management at UNSW, and he is a respected author whose co-authored works Bulletproof Problem Solving in 2019 and The Imperfectionists 2023, I've got to get that one, have shaped strategic thinking for leaders globally. He has made equally distinguished contributions to conservation and philanthropy. As Chair of the Nature Conservancy Australia and Vice Co-Chair of the Nature Conservancy Asia Pacific, he played a pivotal role in returning 88,000 hectares of culturally significant wetland, Gaini, to the Ngari Ngari people, the most significant land handback in southern Australia. With his wife Paula, he founded the McLean Foundation in 2007 to support conservation, literacy and education, and he established Nature's Future Fund to drive long-term philanthropic investment in environmental protection. His advocacy for strengthening organisational capability within the non-profit sector has had a lasting national impact. Mr. McLean's connection to UNE is long-standing and meaningful, and he credits his UNE education as a lasting intellectual foundation that shaped his career, describing it as an important lodestone of thinking. During his student years, he lived at Robb College, representing UNE in Australian rules football, and received the Casson Medal in 1967. Throughout his career, he has continued to highlight the formative role the university played in shaping his professional trajectory and values. Chancellor. In recognition of his significant and sustained contributions to business, public service, conservation, philanthropy, and his outstanding representation of UNE's ideals, I have the honour to present to you Mr. Robert McLean for admission, honoris causa, to the degree of Doctor of Letters.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit you honoris causa to the degree Doctor of Letters. Congratulations. Thank you. So we've just given awards to three amazing human beings who once upon a time sat there. I just want you to stop and think for a minute. We've heard some amazing words about the careers these people have had. This is all within your grasp. You've prepared yourself, you've studied, changed, grown, and there's no reason why you cannot be one of these people down the track that we are really proud of. Thank you so much for being associated with our university. I now invite the Chair of Academic Board, Professor Adrian Walsh, to present the candidates for their degrees.
Would the graduands please stand? Chancellor, I submit to you a list of candidates as set out in the program who have completed all requirements and are entitled to be admitted to their respective academic degrees and awards.
In the name of the Council, I admit these candidates to their respective academic degrees and awards.
Would the graduates please be seated?
Now that's graduates. This is the time to shout and scream.
Would the graduates also receiving the New England Award please stand? I assume you know who you are. That's great. Okay. Chancellor, the New England Award is granted to selected graduates who have demonstrated outstanding service to the university and wider community and commitment to others. It's a non-academic award given by the university in recognition of the skills, attributes, leadership and personal qualities that are developed through extracurricular activity, committee membership, voluntary work and good citizenship.
Through your actions to achieve the New England Award, you have shown yourself to be high-achieving, proactive and outward-looking members of the university community. UNE is proud of the relationships you've developed with many organisations across Australia as a result of your efforts. On behalf of the Council and UNE community, I extend to you our thanks and congratulations. And personally, I want to say it's so inspirational to see people who achieve academically, but also manage to look outside themselves and reach out to help others and change the world and make it a different place. You truly are inspirational. Thank you and congratulations.
Please be seated. Chancellor, would the graduates who are also receiving a Vice-Chancellor's Scholar Award please stand? Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor's Scholar Award is granted to selected bachelor's or master's degree graduates who are graduating with a grade point average of 6.7 or higher. It's granted to recognise the achievements of our most academically high-achieving students.
By achieving the Vice-Chancellor's Scholar Award, you have shown yourself to be a hard-working and disciplined member of the university community with a determination to succeed. On behalf of the Council and UNE community, I extend our hearty congratulations, and personally, congratulations for all of your intellect and thinking and studying and everything you did to get to you to be in the position you're in now, and I look forward to seeing what you do with your fabulous brain after today. Thank you and congratulations.
Please be seated. Chancellor, I now have the honour to present to you all those graduates newly admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy who are able to be present at this ceremony. Otto Charles Henfling, supervised by Dr Simon William Burgess and Adjunct Associate Professor Peter McLennigan, the consequences of not-for-profit leaders trusting their followers. So it's Dr Otto Charles Henfling. And applause, please. Rukai Steen, supervised by Dr Laura Allen Smith Khan and Associate Professor Sivya Bhatani Maramutu. Intermediaries, enabling adults with disabilities to tell their story in the Australian criminal justice process. So Dr Rukai Steen. These scholars stand at the peak of academic achievement. Through years of dedication, intellectual rigour and creativity, they've not only mastered their disciplines, but have also contributed new knowledge to the world. Their work embodies the spirit of discovery that defines this university. In honour of their accomplishments, I now invite all of the procession to please rise and join me in acclaim for our research graduates. Well done, well done. Chancellor, I have the honour to invite the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Agriculture, Business and Law, Professor Sujana Adapa, to present those graduates newly admitted to postgraduate awards who are able to be present at this ceremony.
Chancellor, I now have the honour to present to you those graduates newly admitted to the degree of Master, Graduate Diploma and Graduate Certificate from the UNE Business School and the School of Law. Master of Business Administration, Aaron Douglas Johnson. Natasha Lee Kesby. Nicole Marie Lawless. Sarah Louise Miles. Matthew Liam Wright. Master of Business Administration International, Anisha Bakunche. Master of Economic and Regional Development, Mark Henry Connolly. Master of Economics, Alisha Thi Hong Tran. Master of Human Resource Management, Naomi Elizabeth Southern. Margaret Bryony Borden. Master of Laws, Amos Kipkori Rotich. Olga Sashko. David Stephen Vallely. Master of Professional Accounting, Jason Bajracharya. Mildred Garcia Balangatan. Claire Dupaya. Jonathan Edward Garrett. Manish Giri. Preeti Kumari Thapa. Graduate Certificate in Accounting, Sasha Adil Collins. Madeline Humphrey. Hanago. Graduate Certificate in Business, Cherry Amy Lorenzen. Daniel Ian White. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of postgraduate awards to graduates who are able to be present at this ceremony.
Sorry, a little moment here where I've got to work out what I'm supposed to be doing. I pass it, yeah. Thank you, Professor Adapa. Thank you. I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Chris Moran, to introduce today's occasional address speaker.
Thank you, Chancellor. So you finished? Nah. It's just the start. Now, I know that you're business and law graduates, so you and the audience, I know nobody here today is entrapped by social media. I know that. But for those of you who can think of the others who are, you know that the average or the modal watching of a TikTok is approximately 2 seconds. That is the most watched time of TikToks is about 2 seconds, or any other reel. The longest attention that people give to the greatest TikToks is about 20 seconds. I ask you now to pause and give yourself those 20 seconds and select one profound lesson or memory from your degree time to take away from here? Okay, 15 seconds, can't quite get to the end of the TikTok. For all of you now, whenever you watch another reel or a TikTok, have that thought in your mind. Take that with you, use that thought. Oh, it's a bit of a hard call. University of New England's just established a new strategy. I call it new because it's in a new font and it's in a new presentation. But actually it takes us back to the fundamental roots of the University of New England. It's a wonderful history. The history is written very clearly by good scholars over a long period of time. And there's one word that brought us back to that DNA in all of the consultations, and we held hundreds of consultation sessions, and that word was community. That the university should reface its community. After a long set of discussions, we came up with the concept of what we call community collaborations. Not a particularly radical name, perhaps not a particularly radical concept, other than that it turns the university away from our fundamental purpose of creating and sharing knowledge to the utilisation and impact of that knowledge via you. We have chosen 4 areas and 1 linking area, and I'm not going to walk you through the strategy, very available online for you, but I just wanted to talk about one area of our strategy, given that you're business and law students here. And that is one we call Regions of Tomorrow. This is looking around the world and looking around our region here and saying, what are the forces of change that are coming? What are you on the cusp of as you graduate here today? You're on the cusp of an incredible convergence, a convergence of power. And by that I mean, a bit like the 20 seconds, now cast your mind to the way a world and a country could possibly have made itself entirely dependent on a 20-kilometre wide piece of sea across the other side of the world, rather than making itself self-reliant locally for the power it needs for the future of its region. Would you ever design that? Would you ever decide to do that? Well, today we can decide to do differently. We can decide to have far more local access to the power and energy that we need and the information we need. We are similarly constrained by the information flows of the world that are out of our control. When you open the screen and you finish with TikTok and you turn your attention to something that might be relevant to your job or your life, you have no idea where you're connecting. You have no idea which part of the world your information has just travelled to, unless you can constrain that, unless you can get confidence and trust that as you're interacting, we know, with new intelligences, where your side of that interaction is going. How is it managed? How are you safe? The third convergence, excuse me, that we have is the radical change of these two things on the way business will be conducted. Businesses will change. New jobs will change. You're graduating at the point at which you're on the cusp of very significant change in the way businesses will look. I think businesses will look fundamentally different. We're seeing the first changes where early entry jobs in some professions are beginning to be taken by automation. The graduates that can move into businesses or create businesses who drive that transition are going to be the most sought after people on the planet in the next period of time. Not only in that short period of time, but they will define the business, the way those businesses of the future operate. And they'll be you. And you'll need to come back here to refresh the skills and update the skills, because this world of information and intelligence is rushing very, very quickly, very quickly. One of the great things for us as a regional university is this unshackles us from the constraints of not being metropolitan, the constraints of not being in a major city. We can bring information control here, we can bring intelligence control here, and we will have power here, electrical power, in great quantities. This is a model that can work all around the world, and this is a model into which you're stepping. So you're sitting there saying, but I'm a law student, what's all this business? Well, we know, and you know, that unless you let us do it, it won't happen. As a well-known lawyer said to me once, if we don't let you, nothing happens. Don't be those lawyers. Be the lawyers who have the reverse. How do I help it happen? How do I stand with the businesses, the colleagues who are graduating here today? How do we stand with those people and create the transitions, create the opportunities of the future? You'll need your university for this. You'll need to tell us what you need. You'll need to feed back from the workplace saying, I missed this. This would have been helpful. Can I get it? Will you adapt with me? Will you grow with me? University of New England gives you that commitment. But if you come looking, you'll find us here. You'll find us online. You'll find us out there. So the regions of tomorrow and the connectivity to what happens with respect to energy and information is going to be incredibly important in your future. Even as a law or a business graduate, it seems, well, they're a bit further away. They're rushing at you very, very quickly. Since UNE's first Vice-Chancellor, Sir Robert Madgwick, gave an occasional address at UNE's 1959 graduation, this podium has been followed by hundreds of fascinating speakers, both UNE alumni and others, who take the opportunity to impart their wisdom and experience on you, the graduating cohort, and you, the ever-patient audience, waiting to see your loved one come and get their testimony. Earlier in this ceremony, we heard of Michael Kirby's remarkable contributions to the law, up to the highest court of Australia and well beyond that. His tireless promotion of human rights around the world exemplifies a commitment to justice, equality, and the courage to speak plainly on difficult issues, even when it isn't the easy path. Members of Council, graduates, guests, colleagues, I am honoured to introduce Mr. Michael Kirby, AC, CMG, as your occasional address speaker this morning. Please give him a warm welcome.
Chancellor Sarah Pearson, Vice-Chancellor Chris Moran, Auntie Larissa, who welcomed us to these lands and caused great consternation in the parrots and birds in the vicinity to remind us of the beauty of this place and of our country. I express thanks to the University of New England for the high honour conferred on me of Doctor of Letters. I also honour the university as the first Australian university established outside a capital city. I pay respects to Professor Renato Villano, the head of the business school, to Professor Sujana Adapa, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Agriculture, Business and Law, and to Professor Alpana Roy, the Dean of Law, and to their distinguished predecessors and colleagues, and to my dear fellow graduates and graduands. At my first university, the University of Sydney, then the only university in this state that boasted a faculty of law, I quickly established a reputation which was, I regret to say, deserved, of being a troublemaker. During those early years, I came to know students of the University of New England who were also expert troublemakers. We took a leading part in the activities of the National Union of University Students. Following that, in that respect, Gerard Brennan, who later became President of the National Union and later still the Chief Justice of Australia. Lawyers have a special talent in troublemaking and stirring for progress. After its creation, the Law Students Association of UNE has also been a very strong representative of the interests of students of this university. I discovered this after I was first invited to speak at the university on a grand occasion on this beautiful campus, and later at Robb College, where my distinguished friend from high school days, Dr. Jim Irvine, spent part of his distinguished professional career as principal of Robb College. He is here today with his wife Sue, and along with me, and another friend and graduate of the University of New England, Ian Johnston, a long-time solicitor of Armidale, are here, all of us, to join the past with the present. The grand occasion that brought me to this campus for the first time at a graduation ceremony was in 1976. This was 1 year after I had been appointed as the first chair of the Australian Law Reform Commission. After the Governor-General dismissed Gough Whitlam as Prime Minister, a few months later, in November 1975, the new Attorney-General in the Malcolm Fraser's government was the Honourable Robert Ellicott. He tasked the Law Reform Commission with various large and important inquiries. They included the preparation of a report on the recognition of Aboriginal customary laws. This was years ahead of the developments in our country to uphold the legal rights of First Nations people. It contributed to the change in the atmosphere that made the Mabo decision on native title possible and indeed inevitable. But it was another extremely important project from Mr. Ellicott that brought me to Armidale in 1976. So far, as the Vice-Chancellor has said, this is the only university graduation ceremony anywhere in the world to be held in the open and in the countryside of our beautiful country, and I will never forget it. And here I am, exactly 50 years later, back on this occasion. The ALRC received its project on privacy only a short time before that graduation, so I can date the occasion with pinpoint accuracy. 1976 is 50 years ago, and I was then 37 years of age. Be warned, graduates, be warned. 50 years have disappeared in a flash. Make the most of the years that lie before you. The Chancellor of the University at the time of that first graduation was one of Australia's greatest lawyers and a Justice of the High Court of Australia, Sir Frank Kitto. In 1951, Kitto had agreed with the majority in striking down the constitutional validity of Mr. Menzies' Communist Party Dissolution Act of 1950. That result was later endorsed by the people of Australia in a constitutional referendum of 1951. With Mabo, the communist case constitutes among the greatest of decisions of the High Court for liberty in our country's history. A portrait of Sir Frank Kitto, which won the Archibald Prize, graces the wall of Booloomba residence, which is there on the hill behind us, and it won the Archibald Prize. The university established a lecture series to honour Kitto. He later received the very same degree that I have now received at the hands of the Chancellor. I delivered the lecture to celebrate his life, and another lecture was later established in my name. Now, like Kitto, I am to become an honorary member of the University of New England. After today, he and I will haunt this campus together. We are both spirits celebrating our belief and confidence in freedom under the law that we hold in common. Frank Kitto was serving on the council of the university when Professor, later Sir Zelman Cowen, was serving here as the Vice-Chancellor between 67 and 70. Zelman later served as the Governor-General of Australia. I know he loved this place because I was later, at his request, to edit his vice-regal speeches. They were full of memories of Armidale and of the University of New England. I understood this feeling when I was invited many times to come to speak at this university and in this city and in the town. There was another later link when I joined the CSIRO board. It would come to the University of New England with Paul Wilde, Keith Boardman, David Wright, and other colleagues to continue the focus of the organisation on research, including research on rural sciences and on the global environment. On this very special occasion, I am not only honoured myself, but I am honoured to receive the degree of Doctor of Letters with two fellow graduates who have been admitted this day by the Chancellor. Dr. John Stuckey, who is here with his wife Sally, and Dr. Rob McLean, who is here with his wife Paula. People who get these awards could never get them without the support of their partners. So I would ask you to express congratulations not only to John and Rob, but also to Sally and Paula. I'm proud to celebrate this day with my colleagues and to acknowledge the impact that UNE has had on all of our lives. As the Chancellor, Dr. Sarah Pearson, remarked in her inaugural address as Chancellor, this is a regional university, but it is a place of wider and global excellence. It is also reliant on global research, fearlessness in life by scientists, lawyers and other scholars, with links to graduates of the past and with commitment to philanthropy. I am grateful that all of today's graduates of the university receive their degrees with me and that we all become together alumni of this place. A few weeks ago, my attention was drawn, I think by a friend, to an overview report published in Wikipedia. It asked, "Is Justice Kirby still alive?" The questioner seemed extremely dubious, so I thought I would look up the University of New England. Sure enough, a questioner asked, "Is the University of New England a good university?" The answer came back emphatically, yes, the University of New England is considered a good university, particularly for student experience and research. It has earned a 5-star rating for overall experience from the Good Universities Guide, as the Chancellor has mentioned. It is highly regarded for its strong online education, for student support services, and a high graduate employment rate in the fields like law, health, education and science. Its staff are reported by the students to be helpful and friendly. Its alumni, including Premier Chris Minns and the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia, will have a little work to do in coming times, Michelle Bullock, rise to the top of their many professional trees. Its Chancellor and other leaders stress the need to welcome and support the First Nations people as students of this place, and as well to welcome more women and people from many other lands. UNE serves and stimulates its local community. Its aspirations are excellence, globalism, and peace in the world. We must all ensure that things continue to get better for minorities. I know this from my own personal experience and through friends gathered over 50 years since my last address in this place. It is symbolised for me today by the presence here with me of my partner of 57 years, Johan van Vloten. He was not with me on the day that I set out for Armidale back in 1976. In the manner of that time, he was then invisible. Today, he's here with me, and I share in this beautiful space the joy and celebration of this precious day with him and with fellow citizens. I commit myself henceforth to being a proud alumnus of UNE. I am definitely still alive. Exactly 50 years after my first graduation here, I rededicate myself to this university, to old and new friends, to regional and rural Australia, and to Australia's future as a land with good laws, good environment, and universal human rights. So 3 thoughts of 50 years. First, take a lot of photographs today. They'll be with you all your lives. Second, tell your teachers and above all your relatives that you love them. Anglo-Saxons sometimes have difficulty getting their lips around that word, love, and I was very glad to hear the Chancellor mentioning it today. And thirdly, in your lives henceforth, strive for peace in the world with justice. That will be a goal worthy of each and every one of us, the graduates of the University of New England today. Chancellor.
Goodness me, if there wasn't already enough to be emotional about today, that was beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Kirby, for your fabulous and incredibly humble speech. I mean, you hear about his background, not just your achievements, but for me, the more important thing is the impact that you've had in the world, the changes that you have driven through your humility, but your excellence, and your, what did you call it? Troublemaker. You're a troublemaker. So now I'm not going to encourage you all to be troublemakers, because there's all sorts of connotations about troublemakers. But I am going to encourage you to be unconventional, because I believe that's something that you have brought to the things, an unconventional mind to do things in a different way to change the world, and we really need that. So thank you for your inspiration. We're proud to call you one of ours now, and so glad that you are still alive. Thank you for being with us. So these are footsteps that you're walking. I know I said earlier that there's nothing standing in the way from being like the people that we're celebrating up here, as well as yourselves today. There will be things that will stop you, but you can overcome them, as have these people here, as have I, as have all of us up here. You will be able to do that. Anyway, before we continue with our ceremony, because I was I went a bit wonky earlier because I kept thinking, we've got all these people that we want to come and celebrate and congratulate and give them the certificate, so I went a little bit off-piste. But anyway, we're back on now. Before we continue with our ceremony, we have a special musical interlude to celebrate this momentous occasion. The music for today's ceremony is proudly provided by the graduation ceremony musicians. We are privileged to be joined by 3 outstanding musicians, Warwick Dunham, Constance Dunham, and Malcolm Liddell. Please join me in welcoming them and enjoy the performance.
O mio bambino caro, mi piace bello, bello, andare in moto rossa a comprare l'anello. Sì, sì, ci voglio andare. E se l'amas andando, andrà sul ponte vecchio, ma per buttarmi in mano mi stringe per tormento ed vorrei morire. Oh, pietar, Abo pietar, pietar.
That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that performance. I now invite the head of the UNE Business School, Professor Renee Villano, to commence presenting the undergraduate awards.
Chancellor, I now have the honor to present to you those graduates newly admitted to the degrees of Bachelor with Honors, and those graduates awarded the Advanced Diploma and Diploma from the UNE Business School. Bachelor of Business and Bachelor of Economics. Eva Heather Day. Jordan Peter Day. Bachelor of Accounting, Matthew Edward Gadsden. Caitlin Graham. Talia Newton-Jerd. Chloe Jane Pollard. Matthew Saberas. Bachelor of Agribusiness, Angus Scott Hugh Archer. Kate Blair Hickman. Michaelie Jane Blight. Stuart Brindley Bressett. Hames Angus Cameron. Hames Joseph Chan. Georgie Margaret Coombe. Josie Claire Faulkner. William John Green. Adelaide Jacqueline Hadrill. Prabodhi Deweni Kahadoga Manage. Harrison Max Maven. Skylar Jane McQuilty. Adrian Stewart Ponsonby Burr. Michael Dennis Ryan. Patrick Rogan Sharp. Louis William Taylor. William Blake Jeffries Walker. Kate Elizabeth Weiss. Bachelor of Business, Sigourney Rose Berkery. Haley Louise Batsworth. Georgie Louise Cochran. A.J. Goldsmith. Rachel Beatrice Harrington Hellier. Isaac Albert Keith. Sarah Jane Kelly. Kelly Marie Lever. Elizabeth Rosemary Mayers. Ivy Isabel McGaffey. Terry Ann Ascott Blair McManus. Terry Ann Ascott Blair McManus. Lucy Jessica Moe. Brooke Alexander Peter O'Sullivan. Rhiannon Margaret Reed. Hannah Marie Richardson. Tyson Benjamin Sok. Emma Jane Valens. Bachelor of Commerce in Financial Planning, Christopher Hodge. Anyanya James Mangar. Bachelor of Organizational Leadership, Bradley Alan Chavers. Samantha Elizabeth Horsfield. Benjamin Leigh Kane, also receiving the Vice Chancellor's Scholar Award. Patricia Malakwin. Jennifer Pitcox. Anisha Andre Pratami. Mark Brendan Turner. David Paul Whiting. Carly Agustin. Diploma in Business, Sonia Monique Crary. Shannon Ray Salito. Chancellor, and I have the honor to invite the head of School of Law, Professor Alpana Roy, to present those graduates newly admitted to undergraduate awards who are able to be present at this ceremony.
Chancellor, I now have the honour to present you with the graduates newly admitted to the degree of Bachelor with Honours Bachelor, and those graduates awarded the Advanced Diploma and Diploma from the School of Law. Bachelor of Criminology, Bachelor of Law with Honours, Ian Sutherland, second class, Division 2, also receiving the New England Award. Bachelor of Law with Honours, Stephanie Page Hupfield, first class. Victoria Vivente, first class, also receiving the University Medal. Travis Jeffrey Wisehart, second class, Division 2. Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Laws, Sheridan Pearl Bennett. Isaac James Graham. Michelle Krishnan. Lucy Grace Rumble. Lily Grace Barnett. Kate Allison Bloom. Mariah Jane Lambley. Bachelor of Criminology, Bachelor of Laws, Bethany Lettingta Cardigan. Brooke Rebecca Mayer. Emily Kristen Morton. Bachelor of Economics, Bachelor of Laws, Paris Rose Brailsford. Bachelor of Laws, Jordan Lee Ahern. Anjula Devinder Bandara. Rose Johanna Barbara. Carly Botefer. Ari Brooks. Megan Elizabeth Casserly. Nahil Chidiak. Lydia Grace Cowie. Lisa Simone Crowley. Tammy Lee Dixon. Tenzi Chuki Dorji. Mackenzie Jane Edmonds. Paul Farrow. Thomas Gordon. Kia Griffiths. Keely Alana Brown Groningen. Vanessa Holtham. Jay Hong. Julie Ann Hunter. Lauren Amy Ingle. Maya Yanovich. David Sean Kelly. Naomi Joy Keogh, also receiving the New England Award. Natalie Marie Koutsaris. Gerald Laws. Lola Leslie Major. Kari Marie Matheson. Christopher McLaughlin. Sophie Isabella Meehan. Rick Andrew Morton. Ryan James Jeremiah O'Sullivan. Joshua Louis Parison. Kirsty Marie Pearson. Tatiana Pustevu. Carol Lucia Quintalia. Jennifer Ayuthia Reeves. Bradley Ewan Rogers. Bettina Rebecca Sibra Sitibotsky. Charlie Stott. Anita Gloria Strawn. Joel van der Wegen. John Vestakis. Benjamin Wade. Georgina Ann Wade. Melissa Mia. Miriam Elsbeth Howard. Advanced Diploma in Paralegal Studies, Caitlin Jane Santon. Diploma in Legal Studies, Candice Robertson. Diploma in Paralegal Studies, Mary Tuai Tuvatu Kadawanda. Hayley Ann Jackett. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of awards from the UNE Business School and the School of Law to graduates who are able to present at this ceremony.
Thank you, Professor Roy. I now invite Victoria Vivente to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the graduates.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the graduating students today. I acknowledge UNE's Chancellor, Dr. Sarah Pearson, Vice-Chancellor, Professor Chris Moran, Larissa Ahoy for welcoming us to this beautiful Anawan country that we are on today, council members, distinguished guests, including the Honourable Michael Kirby, academic staff, fellow graduates, family and friends that have joined us today. We are very lucky to have studied at a university that supports us to build study into our existing lives rather than needing to build our lives around our study. I know for many of our graduates, UNE's commitment to flexible learning has been the difference between us completing our studies and not. Many students have had to balance their studies with various other commitments, including working, often full-time, raising or caring for family, playing competitive sport, and travelling. Some students have studied at UNE in the style of a classic university student, coming to attend lectures on campus, studying in the library, living on chips and gravy, and the occasional, or perhaps not so occasional, drink with friends at the bistro. I hope that those of us who have studied on campus have made up for the rest of us. Many of us studied fully online. We have dialed into tutorials from home and from work, and we have studied on trains, ferries, trams, and tarmacs. I sat my very first university exam in a hotel room using a plastic table and chair that I had borrowed from the hotel restaurant, connected to the internet via mobile hotspot with my fingers crossed. I have cried over results at 2 a.m. in New Orleans, finished assignments while sick in the Whitsundays, and made my mum listen to lectures about money laundering and terrorism while driving around Tasmania. I know I speak for many of us when I say that I have carried this degree close to my heart, usually via a very heavy handbag on my left shoulder. For many of us, study has been our constant companion for many years. Studying in the midst of a life being lived is both an enormous commitment and an absolute luxury. It has enabled us to meet students from all over the world, some of whom will be our friends for life. All of the benefits that we as students gain from flexible learning requires a lot of support. For our academic staff, we appreciate that you often worked outside of regular business hours to support us via various channels and in our varying states of panic. The same can be said for the administrative and support staff, such as the library, Ask UNE, IT, and the peer academic study services. Thank you. We could not have done it without you. To our family and friends, born or chosen, you have seen us and supported us through the best of times and the hardest of times. You have continued to love us despite what we have put you through while we have studied. Bearing witness is not often an easy task, and we know how lucky we are to have had that love and support. Thank you. We each study for different reasons and in different environments. Some of us might have a particular career path in mind. We want to be the change we wish to see in the world, help people. We might want to stay active in retirement. We might study because we want to make more money. There are various reasons. Some of us start or finish our studies to prove a point, whether to ourselves or to others. As well-known law graduate Elle Woods, who also studied to make a point, in the end, we have made the point to ourselves more than anyone else. Success is often the best revenge. But regardless of where, why, and how we started, here we are all together at the end. Whether we have succeeded because of, despite of, or in revenge of our environment, may that success continue to find us in the way that we need it for many years to come. Class of 2025 and 2026, we did it. Thank you.
And here am I, Victoria, needing to desperately carry my notes around, and you read all that out of your brain. Thank you, Victoria. That was really inspirational. You touched on a few things that I do want to bring up. One was that it does take a village to raise a child, and it takes a community to get people through their degrees and their PhDs, all their studies. So well recognised, Victoria. It takes a lot of people. The other thing you touched on, which is it epitomises UNE for me, and one reason why I'm so thrilled to be standing where I stand, is that it is the university of the universal opportunity. It doesn't care who you are, where you came from, but everybody should have the opportunity that you have had as you sit in your seats today and celebrate today. And I'm so proud of that for you and for our university. So thank you, Victoria. That was absolutely perfect. So congratulations to you and all the graduates on graduating today. We're going to do some fun things in a minute. You are now part of the UNE family, and I encourage you to stay connected. to stay connected to us with the years ahead, whether by undertaking further study, as we've talked about, maybe encouraging your friends and family, but really engaging through the alumni, through events and activities. You are family now, so find ways to stay connected. You may want to stay connected with the news about what our amazing researchers are doing, or even tell us the fantastic impact that you're having around the world so that we can celebrate with you and the other alumni. I wish you all the very best with your careers ahead, and I look forward to hearing about the difference that UNE has made to your world and the difference that you make, be that to yourself, your family, your community, or even broader than that. As new opportunities unfold before you, and as I said right at the beginning, they will, you have stepped into a world of opportunity. We take great pride in having accompanied you on this chapter of your journey. I'm going to ask the graduates now to acknowledge that community, the great contribution made by your family and your friends and your community. So I'm going to ask you to stand up and turn around, face these amazing people that have come with you today, and we're all going to give them a big applause and a thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for attending today's ceremony, and a special thanks to the UNE staff who have worked tirelessly. You know the old duck's legs under the water? They've done that tirelessly to make today's ceremony such a memorable one. Before we bring today's ceremony to a close, we have one final moment to share with our newest graduates. In a moment, I will invite you to launch your trenchers in celebration, a gesture that marks not only the completion of your studies, but the beginning of all that lies ahead. I will just remind you, though, you have to find them afterwards, so be careful where you throw them. Today, as you lift your trenchers, it's not only a celebration of your own achievement, but a reflection of the university sending you forth into your professions, your communities, and the wider world to contribute with knowledge, creativity, and purpose. Now, I'm going to ask you to turn around again, because much as I love seeing you be so happy, it's really these beautiful people who've come with you that need to see those faces. So turn around, and I'm going to count to 3. And don't forget, you have to pick it up afterwards. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Woo! Okay, who's the troublemaker? Okay, I'm going to call you back with your hats. You can turn around and sit down now. I hope you all continue to enjoy the wonderful atmosphere which graduation creates, and you'll take advantage of the various hospitality and entertainment options available today. Thank you for joining us to celebrate here. Thank you for being with us throughout your studies. I declare the ceremony closed and ask the congregation to please stand for the academic anthem, Gaudeamus Igitur, and after the anthem, the newly admitted graduates are invited to follow the procession out. Have a lovely afternoon and enjoy your celebrations. Congratulations.
Gaudeamus igitur, jubilis dum sumus. Gaudeamus igitur, jubilis dum sumus. Post incundum juventutem, post molestum sequututem, nos abebitur. Nos cabebitur. Vivat Academia, vivat professores, vivat Academia, vivat professores, vivat membrum quod libet, vivat membra qui libet, semper sint in gloriam, semper sint in gloriam. Trying hard now. It's so hard now. Trying hard now. Feeling strong now. Won't be long now. Getting strong now. Flying Thank you.